Hi, I'm Ben Hart, and today I'll be speaking about the three founding fathers that I think had the biggest impact on shaping modern America. So 1774 to 1781, that is the span of time that the American Revolution took place. During that span, the ideologies of the Enlightenment period were shaped into a document signed by the men called the Founding Fathers, outlining the inalienable rights of modern democracy, and this document is known as the Declaration of Independence. Three of these men who created this document stand out in the public's mind: George Washington, John Adams, and Thomas Jefferson. Each of these men contributed significantly either during the Revolutionary period or as President of the United States. During the creation of democracy, these men contributed significantly. The first one would be George Washington. Prior to the Revolutionary period, he served under General Edward Braddock, and this is where he developed a resentment for British soldiers. It started when he had a dispute with British soldiers over the importance of militia officers during the French and Indian War. After some significant accomplishments during his military career, he was appointed to the Continental Congress and was eventually elected to run the American military during the Revolutionary War. Eventually, he forced General Cornwallis of Britain to surrender and ultimately win the war. And after this, he eventually gave up the American military to Congress, believing that the military should be controlled by the citizens, which is now what we believe today. After this, after his involvement in the war and the Continental Congress, he was nominated to the first presidency. During his presidency, his greatest achievement, according to millercenter.org and whitehouse.gov, was that he maintained a state of neutrality during a period of war in Europe. This allowed the country to expand to the Western territories, as well as maintain economic stability during a time of economic hardship. Our second founding father, John Adams, showed academic promise. As a young man, he attended Harvard College at the age of 15, according to millercenter.org. Millercenter.org also states that Adams became a prominent lawyer and eventually was the lawyer who defended the British soldiers responsible for the Boston Massacre, in which many people were killed by British soldiers and they were unarmed. Adams was actually hesitant to join the revolutionary movement, and he actually agreed to join the Patriots after some stipulation by his cousin Samuel Adams. Adams was elected to both Continental Congresses, and he was also involved in writing the Declaration of Independence. However, his most notable achievement prior to his presidency was his participation in the negotiations of the Treaty of Paris, where he maintained commerce with Britain after the war. Throughout Adams' presidency, he was faced with a threat of war from the French and the British. They were during a state of war at that point in time. However, Adams maintained neutrality and stayed out of the war. Our third founding father, he is Thomas Jefferson. He was a practicing lawyer prior to the Revolutionary War, but also prior to the Revolutionary War, he stated his distaste for British authority over American colonies. During the Revolutionary period, he was elected to the Second Continental Congress and actually wrote the Declaration of Independence with input from Benjamin Franklin and John Adams. History.com also states that Jefferson advocated for a Bill of Rights to be included in the U.S. Constitution, which gave us our rights that we have today in the Bill of Rights, and obviously there are new amendments added every year, or every so often, but after achieving the presidency, his biggest achievement was the Louisiana Purchase, which acquired 820,000 square miles of Louisiana territory from France, effectively doubling the size of the country. In conclusion, these three men took a group of colonies, turned it into a world power. And without their contributions, we would still be in a state of darkness or be ruled by the British.